Okay, so now we are gonna add some lights. First one will be a blue spotlight. So go to create a new spotlight. Rename it to blue. When you create your first light, your scene will turn black. That's because when there is one light, all of the background lights are switched off. Just by moving this light, it will be corrected again. So switch your viewpoint to blue. You can look through a spotlight just like you look through a camera. And that way you can easily change the position of that light. So the blue one we're going to position slightly to the left and above the camera. Then I will go to parameters and change the color. In RGB value it will be 155, 199, 255. Also I want to change the intensity, so it will be brighter if you put it double as bright if you put it to 200%. To look what it does to our scene, I switch the camera again to camera 1. If I render it now, it will also render the environment map. So I won't see only the blue one. So if I want to test the blue light, then I can switch off the environment map as follows. Tap render settings, tap environment mode, and instead of dome and scene, switch this to scene only. So now when I render, it will only render the blue light. Okay, it's very dark, but that's okay. This spotlight is not meant to light up a scene, it's just to add some interesting color and shadows to the render, to make it more realistic. Actually, this blue light is mimicking the light in real life that bounces off the sky. I can see that my shadows are a bit harsh, so I want to change that, and that you can do also in parameters, and then switch the light to geometry, which is a point for the moment, and we switch it to rectangle, and then your shadows will be more blurry and more lifelike. See, much more blurry. Okay, cancel. I'm gonna do the same for the lights that bounce off the ground in real life. So also add a spotlight and call it brown, this one. Again, go to parameters, brown, switch the color to the RGB value 65, 52, 48. Also change the position. This one is going to the opposite side, so right of the camera and slightly below, and then point it so it points at her face. Go back to my render camera. Okay, so now if in the scene I switch off blue, I can do that by clicking on the little eye icon to the left. Then I will see what my brown camera does. So if I render it, that's the brown camera. Again with too harsh shadows, so I forgot to change that from point to rectangle. Okay, let's render them both at the same time, the brown and the blue one. Yeah, perfect. Okay, let's switch on our environment map again. From scene only to dome and scene. Okay, let's render it. It's starting to look really realistic. Okay, let's add another spotlight. This time I'm gonna create a real spotlight to shine more light on her face. I'm just gonna call it spotlight. Change the viewpoint. Position it to the right and on top of the camera. Maybe something like this. Okay, looking good. I can see that my shadows are again a bit harsh. So I'm gonna change that again by selecting the spotlight, parameters, spotlight here, and the point has to be a rectangle. Okay, we're gonna add a new light still. This one is gonna be a backlight. So again, it's the spotlight that we're adding. We call it backlight. This one we're going to use like in photography and also in movies. Sometimes they place, often they place a very bright light behind the actor to make them stand out of the background. So we can simulate the same thing with a spotlight. Okay, I'm gonna position it through by viewing through the backlight. This time I'm gonna position it behind Victoria. Make sure you're not behind the wall, because then the light won't reach her face. So I'm going in front of the wall. I just want the light to be a very thin line on her face. So I can switch the camera back to my render camera, and when I switch off all of the other lights, then I can see how much light is coming on her face. So I think this is already quite okay. Let's try to render it. Okay, it looks good. Let's keep it this way. Don't worry if you're afraid that you're not able to position all of the lights exactly like my lights are here in the class. You can download it below, where you can just load it into your scene and all of the lights will be prepared for you. That's just for the spotlights, it's not for the environment map. Next, some camera settings.